The Kansas City Chiefs dropped a tough one as the streak of regular season losses to the Bill rolls on and on and on in a game that they could have had. I am here to tell you that right now. We're going to break it down for you. I'm Ryan Tracy. This is Dan Harms. We are RGR Football. Thanks for joining us here post-game live. It's nice to see you guys. If you're already pissed off, let's get it out because there's plenty to go over here. We're going to give you our notes, our breakdowns, and our takeaways. We're going to answer some of your questions. Super chats get an answer no matter what, and we will try to get to some others as well. Dan, this is a disappointing loss, mostly for me because I didn't feel like they played the game they played the last 3 weeks. I didn't feel like they were aggressive enough. I didn't think they were physical enough. I thought we saw the Bills rise to the occasion. Their defense actually played well when we haven't this season. Cole Bishop played the best game of his career against the Chiefs. Travis Kelce couldn't give a crap. That's okay. He'll stand up and keep on going. So let's not get cocky. But in the end, I felt, again, this was about the Chiefs not playing up to their potential rather than the other team just blowing them out. How did you feel?
I mean, they got dominated in the trenches. Like, they did. They got dominated. And regardless of who's out there right now for them, their offensive line sustained some injuries. They didn't play well in the trenches on either side. They got absolutely pushed around. Now, they made some adjustments in the second half on the defensive line to stop them from just taking Reggie Gilliam and shoving them down their throats. Right. However, it didn't really matter because Josh Allen could do whatever he wanted to. He completed 23 of 26 passes in this game. It was not difficult for the Bills offense today. And that's the thing, is that they did a great job. They brought out some stuff that the Chiefs clearly weren't ready for, and they kept going after it. And when you do that, when you are able to put linebackers in conflict time after time after time, you're going to keep winning. And that's something we have seen grow over the past however many years. And the one thing that I have been harping on this year about the Chiefs run defense and how it's a little bit fake is that they run blitz. And when you run blitz and you can't actually get home because it's a play action fake, guys are wide open all the time. So if you have to run blitz to be able to stop the run, it's because your defensive tackles aren't good enough to take on blocks, which they aren't. That's why you see Mike Pennell back in there. So everything right now for them in terms of being able to play the run is a little bit fake, and the Bills saw that, and they went after it.
Yeah. In the end, Pennell plays 20 snaps to he out-snapped Derek Nottie in this game after having been back in the building for about 5.5 seconds. Ashton Gillotte out-snapped them both on the defensive
line. That's a ridiculous thing to hear because you guys literally brought him in off a practice squad where he was not playing, and Derek Nottie was going to get cut. You're playing two guys that were not NFL players for okay.
And then that's what it comes down to. They elevated Marlon. I did see him get in there. I did not see anything in terms of production from him. I don't think he registered a snap. I could be wrong, but I'm double checking that as we go. No, I had the number wrong. It's Derek Nottie wearing 92. That's on me, folks. Sorry. Didn't get much out of it. And you're absolutely right. In holding Cook to 114, you did better than the last team he played, but it still ain't good. At halftime, here's the thing, and this is note number one in my game. You started out with the right idea, and you gave up on it again, Andy. Yeah. Halftime, 5.8 yards a carry for Cook, 5.7 for Kareem Hunt on half the carries, and yet you abandon it. They were getting things done. There were multiple 10-yard runs in this game for the Kansas City Chiefs, and yet you didn't go back to it to try to help pad out, and that's the problem. I don't think Patrick was 100% tonight. But I felt that was, once again, this looked like pressure that he saw from last season. The tackles were not up to this game. And if Joey Bosa, who's been cast aside, hurt, and is 87 years old, is able to do this to you, something's wrong. The best blocker tonight was Kingsley Suamataia, and he got hurt and still came back in the game. That's something I didn't expect to say tonight, did you?
I saw him one-on-one with Michael Hoyt and just kind of dominate him a couple of times. Kingsley's playing really good football. Like, he's playing really good. And this team looked like 2024 Kansas City Chiefs. It did. Yeah. Where you can do whatever you want to, running the football a little bit here, with the Bills specifically, because they ran over them last year and in the year before in the postseason as well. So they've had success running the ball against them. But in terms of the offense, it was our tackles can't block and we have no room. They're very disciplined in the rush lanes. Patrick couldn't get up through the pocket to make anything happen. And that's really what you saw. When you go away from the run game like that, it defeats the purpose of what your offensive line needs to be able to do. You have a hurt Trey Smith, who is probably playing 85%. You know that Juwan Taylor's playing with 2 injuries, a shoulder and an ankle, and you know, he was being abused. And Jalen Moore has progressively gotten worse week after week after week. And they need Josh Simmons back. We don't know if he's going to come back after the bye, but if it's going to be a long-term injury for Juwan Taylor, you need Josh Simmons back now. You need it now because Wanya Morris should have been cut before. We have said this for years. Wanya Morris should have been cut before last year. He is a bad football player and needs to be cut. Asa Pole could have given you far better reps at right tackle tonight than he did. And he came in and he immediately got pushed into Patrick Mahomes' lap. We have talked about this time after time after time. Wanya Morris cannot be on your football team. He cannot play tackle. If he's out there playing tackle for you, he's going to get attacked. And he did and he will every single time. Then he got a penalty. It's bad football, and you're making it worse by putting him out there.
Yeah. Wanya Morris is the answer to 0 questions. 0.
Correct.
Thank you, FLDB, one of our mods in here, throwing the Nightbot up. We appreciate you, and thanks for resounding that. If you guys would subscribe and hit the like on that, that would go a long way. And if you happen to be one of the happy people that got a free membership from Minotaur, enjoy that. Throw your questions in there. Get the emojicons going and all that kind of stuff. And if you want to upgrade to get our rant, which I'm sure at least one of us will do.
At least, yeah, for sure.
At least, maybe both. Check that out. And you can also get the Rogue Nation gear in the store. I didn't realize, Dan, that we both had the same thing on, so I'll go back to this.
It's fine. It's just matches the shirt that I'm wearing. So
I like it. That's great. Let's see here. So Black and Gold, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you being a member and the support here. Offense went stale. The OTs were dreadful in pass pro, and you're absolutely right. Like when you have to get down to the fact that Taylor was already getting whooped by, quite frankly, a Joey Bosa that has not been able to perform like this all season. Joey's put in some good snaps, but he wasn't able to have a game like this against anyone else but Juwan Taylor. And Juwan, once again, if you're going to jump, okay, that's the way you run your game. I don't like it, but I can live with it. Line up in the damn line and not the backfield. For the love of Christ. That's what it comes down to for me.
Yeah, this is a classic case of not responding to teams giving you the best every single time. You have to go into every game knowing that teams are going to give you their best shot. And if you come in flat, which the Chiefs did again in this football game, you're going to get taken advantage of. And the offense never really got right. You know, the first touchdown they scored was a good drive. But as soon as they didn't get another one until the fourth quarter, that's when you saw the tackles really aren't there. Patrick looks like he's trying to bring his eyes down when he gets pressured because that's what he's used to when tackles are struggling. And you go away from the run game when, like you said, it's actively working. They had multiple runs in that first half where Kareem is like, oh, there's a hole here. And the Bills are going to want to stop Patrick Mahomes. How many times have you played this team? And again, I don't necessarily care about losing to the Bills in the regular season, but you're 5-4 now. This win would have means a little bit more this year than it did in previous years because of you're a game and a half behind the Chargers now because they have the advantage over you, and you're 2 games back of the Denver Broncos. You now have to beat Denver. You basically have to sweep them in at this juncture to be able to possibly win the division. We're not even in that spot right now because the Chiefs are in the 8th seed as it is right now. I don't like doing ranking stuff in November, but when you're losing games and you're 5-4, 9 weeks into the season, it's you have to have a conversation about you have to come out to play. And if you don't, you're going to get beaten up.
Yeah, that's just the way that it is. And that might be the easier games. Like they have to pull this together and be more consistent. I don't know. Rashard Smith got 3 carries. And he only got 7 yards. Okay. Most of them were inside. We saw the pitch last week to do what he does well, and yet they go away from it again on a day that you have Kareem Hunt. And that's all you have in the backfield. You brought up CEH for some ungodly reason.
This is wild to me. Cut Elijah Mitchell, please. Just cut him. Why is he on the roster? There is no reason to have a guy that you clearly don't want to play on your roster, yet here he is just sitting there. This is wild.
It is. It's nuts. And if he does not get traded in the next 2 days as a little throw-in or something, I don't understand what in the world is going on. And yes, folks, we have till Tuesday for the trade deadline. I will have something for you before we get there. And obviously, we'll do the Q&A live tomorrow night. If you missed my last piece, I told you what was going to happen in this ballgame. And I told you they had trouble covering these damn tight ends. And it's like they didn't even know they were on the field. That is problem number one for me on the defensive side, besides the lines getting crushed, is you didn't bother to pay attention to them, the two guys that hurt you the most, game after game after game after game. I thought they controlled Shakir enough to get a W. That's my takeaway.
Drew Tranquil needs to get less snaps after the bye.
Come on.
Period. End of story. Bossa has to play. There is no more we can put Drew Tranquil out there in coverage. He is effectively bad in coverage. He's not good. He's become a run-stuffing linebacker. A guy who was a former safety can no longer cover. This has to end. It's not an experiment. It's flat out harming your defense because he just can't cover. He loses guys in zone. He doesn't get proper depth. He can't find anybody underneath, and he can't get there because he's not quick enough to do it. At this juncture, you have to just bite the bullet and put Jeffrey Bossa out there now and say, we don't have a choice. We're going to have to rely on Nick Bolton in the run game to line him up properly, but in coverage, he's going to give you something that you don't have right now.
Yeah. And people were screaming at me to get Hicks in there. Hicks was on the field, some folks, but I don't think he's prepared, and I don't think he's trained enough. What did he get? He got 3 coverage snaps is all he got. I'm looking for total. 4 snaps. He did get out there, but I don't know why. If you were searching for answers, why one of them isn't Hicks on 3rd down for Tranquil? I'm not sure.
Something's got to happen. You want to play him a linebacker? Play him a linebacker. I don't care, but Drew Tranquil can't be on the field anymore in coverage. He's just bad. I don't care how smart he is, Spags. I don't care anymore. He's got to be off the field.
It's beating him up, and that's the bottom line. Minotaur, 50 months over the 4-year mark. One of our elder statesmen here makes you feel like you're 50. Well, I'm already there, bro. I feel like that every dang day. So cheers to you, and thanks for being with us for so long, Minotaur. You make the world go round. Kellen, I think it's time for Taekwon and Juju to get more snaps than Hollywood. And I don't think that it's that far off, but Hollywood has an explosivity that Juju does not. And he has a field vision that Taekwon does not. Those are the 2 reasons that I think he continues to get more snaps than either of them, to tell you the truth.
I don't have an issue with the snap appreciation for the.
Yeah. He came in at 26. Juju at 17. Taekwon at 14.
Yeah. Again, I don't feel like that's maybe Taekwon should get a little bit more because you can stretch the field there, but Hollywood is getting open. I mean, he got open multiple times in this game. He had a couple big plays. I know that everyone kind of wishes he would have fallen if Patrick would have thrown him into the end zone. It's touchdown. He underthrew it, and that's why he fell down, because he got tackled right at the 1-yard line. It wasn't led into the end zone. So that one's on Patrick. So you hate to see that kind of play happen where he gets wide open. You should score a touchdown on that play. But I don't think that Hollywood's being, used too much. If anything, we've talked about this. The run game needs more. Bashard Smith needs to get more outside zone, needs to get more tosses. They didn't do any of that in this football game. And the one screen they hit where Tracy Smith, I don't know what he's doing. He's standing where he shouldn't be, and a ball goes right off his head. Like, just this kind of stuff.
I think that goes back to your original point. He got jacked back into that play, right?
Maybe. I didn't actually see him get it's possible that he did too. But at the end of the day, I know everyone's going to talk about game plan or Matt Nagy and Andy Reid not doing a great job here. They got beat. They just flat out got beat. And then when you can't execute, when your offensive line's not playing up to snuff, when you aren't executing at the highest level that we've seen over the past 3 weeks, this is what happens when a team shows up in the Bills. So I understand that people are going to get mad about, well, this team's just not very good. That's not true at all. It's a very good football team that didn't execute very well. And then the Bills came into this game, played it like their Super Bowl, like they do just about every single year. You have to expect that. And the Chiefs clearly did not know how to answer the bell. And again, their offensive line did get abused at the tackle position today. So it's not a great position to be in, but you got to find ways to do it.
Honestly, if it isn't the loss to the Jaguars earlier this season, this is one of the games I had down as a loss, to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
because the Bills always beat them in the regular season. This is not throwing the season out of whack. It's the Jaguars loss that did, in my opinion, because this was on the map already as probably going down as now. But it just hurts a little bit more because it was close enough, and you could see some minor adjustments, like playing through the whistle on the lines, that probably turned the tide on this ball game. But we have more for you. We're going to take more questions as well. Razgriz, I know it's extremely frustrating, but it is what Andy is, and I'm going to keep pointing it out, but I have lost my ability to expect him to change. So how much is coaching and how much is execution? It's a great question, Anubis. I'm 30-70. Where are you, Dan?
I'm right there too. Like, I feel like a lot of this is on execution, and I still think that the coaching isn't bad. When you don't have the ability to protect like you want to, it changes what you can do. Like Patrick, it was very clear to me that they wanted to throw the ball down the field in the middle parts of an attack where the Bills had been susceptible all season long. Their pass rush was way better than it had been in previous games.
Yeah.
The Bills have not been able to get that kind of pressure. And again, they jacked it up against the Chiefs, which you have to expect. I at this point, if you don't expect them to come to bring it a little bit more, this game means more to Joey Bosa. This game means more to every single Bill player. They're basically a part of the AFC West at this point. This is the 10th matchup. They play 2 times a year, every year. They know you very well. So we can't assume that you're going to come into this game and not get their best effort. That's kind of what bothers me about this, is that the execution factor is not up to snuff at the tackle position. And Javonte was playing bad before he got hurt. So it's that whole situation where I don't think they wanted to change to be the RPO. Everyone's saying, why didn't they run any RPOs? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Well, I wish they would have attacked the edges a little bit more, but the Bills kind of expected the RPO game because that's what you killed them with in the Super Bowl, in the AFC Championship game. You came out and said, hey, RPO, RPO, RPO. It was very obvious with the way Cole Bishop was coming up and their safety was coming up. They wanted to get those quick passes now. They wanted to do that quickly. So the Chiefs, kind of understanding that, wanted to attack the deep intermediate parts of the field. And when you can't protect Patrick long enough to make those plays happen, that's what we saw today. And then the execution on top of it didn't match up.
I would have liked to seen more of the slant game. It doesn't have to be an RPO, under center, whatever you got to do. I don't think they completed one. I think I only saw one slant route actually ran with any effect. And that's just part of a game you can run from anywhere. You don't have to go to the RPO mode. But they also now have that as the next level for when they play next time. And I do think that is part of the equation here with Andy Reid. Folks, we're going to continue to go through our notes, give you our takeaways, and answer your questions. We appreciate you. If you would support the folks that support us, we would very much appreciate it. Brunt is my work boot of choice when I have to get out there and get going. I hope you guys will support them as well. More from that coming this week. But to Bro Cephas' question, and thank you for the support, buddy. Why is Mahomes not pulling the trigger on receivers breaking open out of their routes, meaning not hitting them at the break point? And he's not reading the D. I think you're incorrect there. He is reading the D. And second chance plays doesn't work against a disciplined pass rush. It's not, in my opinion, the discipline that got him. It's the fact that they were winning early in the pass rush. If you win initially, it changes the geometry for Patrick. And I think he understood what they were doing. He wasn't able to either have the time to set his feet and let the ball go. And quite frankly, when they dropped into those deeper zones, especially when they went cover 4, they were not getting the looks that Patrick felt comfortable throwing the ball into.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I wish they would have done more is throw it to the flat after the initial read, because they had Brashard Smith early on a leak out to the left side. We saw Travis Kelce get a first down on 2nd and 12 because he was just open in the flat. It was clear to me that the Bills were trying to force them to do that, right? They wanted to throw the ball to the flats, or at least like congest the middle of the field so that the Chiefs had to do that. And that's where the game plan for me was missing a little bit. The adjustment to go to the flat a little bit more did not happen. They were still trying to throw the ball down the field, which I have no problem with if your tackles can protect, which they couldn't. Right. And that's where I think the disconnect is. You want to still be aggressive. And again, I don't have any issue with wanting to be aggressive, read the situation a little bit more. Your tackles are being abused, and they're now 2 backups in there. And unfortunately, but at that point, when Monty Morse got in there, they were already down, so they had to throw the ball down the field.
Well, and for Brosi, if it's for you or anyone else who's saying, okay, so they were jumping the under route, so the quick game doesn't work, and your tackles are getting their ass handed to them. So what are you going to do? The answer is run the damn ball.
Yeah.
Don't make Patrick throw into that crap. Hit him. Wear them out physically. Make it harder for Cole Bishop to keep coming down because he's getting ass pummeled when they run right over him. That's how you wear down a defense that's jumping your plan and making your life hard. You beat them up physically, and that's what Andy continues to forget, and unfortunately could have been the answer today if he had chosen to go after it.
Would have been nice to see a couple pitches there, and just kind of go. And after that first touchdown, lean into the run game a little bit more. Like, just you get the ball back. You probably could have just gone down there and run the ball a little bit more effectively. I like what they were doing with 12 personnel. They had a 12 personnel play that got an explosive from Kareem Hunt with Noah Gray. Actually, no, it was 13 personnel. So they got 13 yards out of 13 personnel. I didn't see it the rest of the game. I didn't see 13 personnel out there the rest of the game. Like, why not?
I wish I had an answer for you because it would just make too much damn sense, right? Sometimes you just got to buck the system. Lulu, appreciate the question. Will the Chiefs make the playoffs? Yes, I squarely believe they will make the playoffs. Other teams are starting to slide. Chiefs have been up and down on this roller coaster. In the end, they have too much experience to let themselves fall out of playoff contention. They're going to get the 1 seed and have a bye? Hell no. I don't think they can get there. No matter what happens. Will they play the Bills in the AFC Championship game again? That's what I said last week on Thursday to Joe Marino, one of the biggest Chiefs analysts I know on the Locked On Network. He's great. And I told him flat out, I think they're going to play in the AFC Championship game. After tonight, I'm not so sure.
It's hard to imagine them getting there at this point because they are 5-4 and they haven't really consistently put together the showcase against some of the better teams that they've played to suggest that. And I understand it. Like, they thoroughly destroyed a hurt defense in the Detroit Lions. Like, they just thoroughly beat them up. That's the only really good football team that they have beaten. Like, handled. Commanders were hurt. The Ravens were hurt. So there are some questions, I think, lingering about this football team. However, there are a lot of football games left, and I had predicted a 12-5 season for them. Let's not forget that. I didn't expect it to be 4 losses in the first 9 games,
right?
But it's kind of at that point. We got to figure some things out. I do believe if the Chiefs are lucky enough, and hopefully everything's going well with his situation, that if Josh Simmons comes back post-bye, then I think they're going to be just fine.
I agree. If that does happen and Juwan's able to get some rest and Jalen's able to play on the right-hand side, I am comfortable enough. For my prediction preseason, it was 13-4. They have to run the table for that. If they get Josh Simmons back for that, I think it's a possibility still. I won't rule it out. Dan's not going to call me on it. Okay, cool.
I'm not going to call you on it. I don't know. I just don't think they're running the table. I'd love for them to do it, obviously, but it's a tough task right now.
It certainly is. Broncos twice. There's a lot to get done. Ray, thank you for this one. Can I get a legit edge rusher for Christmas? Love listening to you guys. Thanks for the content. I would love to see that. And as much as I'm happy that Ashton was able to actually produce a little bit more tonight, he's not there. He's not ready to take on that role. They do need something. Do they get it done in the trade before the deadline? I don't know, because they have to clear cap room, or they have to work the cap in the trade as well. And I'm just not sure that's something that gets done. Do you have a gut feeling for it right now?
I know that's like the only spot they're looking at right now, like defensive line help. I think that they need it desperately. So I think they have to figure something else. I think they have to figure something out to get it done. The benefit is you also have the bye week to help incorporate whoever you do go. So if you want to be aggressive in it and try to get them in to learn the system a little bit more, it's not have to play next week, right? So you have that time.
I'm with you. Matt, I'm sorry, we did address this, but I'll do it again. We both still think they make the playoffs. What that record and what that seed is the big question. Thank you for the support, buddy. Appreciate you. Kyler, thank you as well. We are not good, and Simmons needs to come back. Well, thank you for being a member for 4 months.
Appreciate
Welcome
being a member.
onto the train. And no, tonight they were not good. And I do think Simmons needs to come back. I didn't think we'd have to say that at this point. But if Juwan's able to play, they can continue to win ball games. If Juwan is not, and you're down to Wanya Morris, or trying to push Isapole back onto the field, that's a different matter. Because we have to remember, as much as we like the upside of Pole, he hasn't been on the field.
Yeah.
He has not seen anything more significant than the last time we saw him in a Chiefs uniform. So we can't expect progression for him to this point. It would be thrown into the frying pan, basically. So we got to guard against that hope as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Jacob, thank you. Appreciate you as always. Cannot open both the game and the third quarter with 3 and outs. Absolutely wonderful point. Piss poor game management at the 1 yard line to finish the first half. Agreed. This is a must-win game this year. Now, every game from here out is a must-win game. You're absolutely right. I have no qualm with anything you said, and I appreciate you saying it. Dan, anything you want to add?
No, not at all. I didn't necessarily hate that they ran the ball on that first down at the 1 yard line. I'm like, okay, you don't want Buffalo to get, have too much time to work with here. So
right.
That's okay. I didn't feel like they did enough window dressing. I didn't think they motioned nearly enough, and they probably should have attacked the flats again. Give Xavier Worthy an attempt, or just throw a wide receiver screen to Rashee Rice out there on one of those. Motion to a screen. I didn't feel like they did enough there, but I didn't hate the run. It's just more of a, you hope you can get it there, and they weren't unable to. But I agree with just about everything you said there, Jacob.
I agree as well. My problem on the goal line is they didn't run enough. And I'll tell you the other thing. You tell me if I missed it, Dan, but I did not see any jumbo package. I did not see a 6th offensive lineman on there. Come out there and mash the hell out of them. Don't run in the B gap over and over and over and over. Don't be predictable. It's what they did with the run on the 1 that was the problem, not the fact that they ran, in my opinion.
Yeah, and no under center there either. It was –
yeah.
I believe it was out of shotgun for that one, which I can't stand anyway. If you're on the goal line, bring it out.
Love of God.
Well, look at what the Bills are doing. They're bringing 22 personnel out, and they're saying, "Hey, we're going to run it. You know you're going to run it, and guess what? You can't stop it." And the Chiefs couldn't. They won't do that right now.
And for the love of God, on the opposite thing, Josh Allen lines up to take a sneak. He is going over left guard. Stack the left side and crash that edge.
I mean,
period.
They got him pushed back twice. They got him pushed back twice. And it was the follow-up after where they were able to score touchdowns. And again, I know everyone's going to be, you can't just take your quarterback who's turned around and push him into the end zone. This has been fine forever. And the Chiefs do it all the time in non-goal line situations. You can't have your cake and eat it too, guys. You can't be awesome when, everyone gets on Kareem Hunt or Isaiah Pacheco and pushes them forward for 5 yards and be like, yeah, that's awesome. But then when other teams do it, you can't get mad about it. I can't stand seeing that shit every single time. It bothers the crap out of me.
I don't blame you. And that's what I'm saying. If you put one more defender on that side of the ball, knowing that that's his tendency, I don't think you cost yourself or risk yourself on the other side if they pull it out and try to do something weird. But it gives you that second effort that you can combat and you can put your force behind it too. Yeah. I think it's just short-sighted at this point. Thundarius, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Check out Thundarius's channels as you will, please, folks. That would be very good. And thanks for the support, buddy. So we lost to the Bills in the regular season. Guess that means another postseason W and Super Bowl appearance. History repeating itself. I think you're absolutely right. That's exactly where I'm coming to. At this point, though, with the Chiefs being in 8th place, I don't think they play in the AFC Championship game. I think we have to go to Buffalo before that in the divisional round is my guess. But that's just me looking maybe a little bit too far ahead. But I appreciate you, Thundarius. Hope you're doing well, pal. And Scott, thank you. Get the O-line healthy and call more play action, please. Yeah, we will argue with neither of those things.
And again, if you stick with the run in the first half and you go under center a little bit more and you run with Kareem Hunt, guess where the play action comes? It comes right there. And you want to know something really funny is that on that 4th and 17, they put Joey Bosa in conflict. Do you think if you are running the ball very well that he would be in conflict with the play action pass? Yes, he absolutely would be. And he wouldn't be teeing off on your tackles. They leaned into play action a little bit like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it worked beautifully. And then they said, nah,
No, we're done. Maybe that's what they're saving for the playoffs. I don't know. But you look at the post game. Oh, when it's all said and done. Yes, Cook got 100 yards, 4.2 yards carry. Took him 27 carries to get there.
Yep.
Kareem Hunt, 4.5 on the day. He outran per snap James Cook. That's what he did today. You double down on that, you have a W. That's the bottom line.
I'm just going to tell you guys right now. One, thank you very much, 45, for becoming a member here on YouTube. I'm not here to talk about Chris Jones. I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think how he's playing. There is not one person that has the juice to help him as a pass rusher anywhere on this defensive line. Not one iota can win quickly in a one-on-one situation, and Chris Jones is getting doubled all the time. I do not care about what he's making. Chris Jones, if he were not on this football team, the Chiefs would give up 35 points a game. So please take it away.
I think the key thing you said there, and this is what I talk about every time we talk about defensive tackles in the draft and every time we talk about free agency, is you have to win quickly. It is not enough to continue to power through and be there to clean up when Chris creates pressure. You have to have someone else that can win quickly. George Karlaftis did that last week. I am quite honestly surprised he wasn't able to this week. I thought that he would. I was wrong about that.
And that's just real quick. I gave George his flowers last week because he played well. And then in the film room, if you recall, if you watched it, I showed you he was a smart football player where he's limited as a pass rusher. I showed it to you on the tape. So, yes, two things can be true at the same time. Chris Jones is awesome. And every now and then, George Karlaftis is going to have a game where he helps out. He didn't help out very much in this game. He had a couple of really good plays, a couple of splash plays here and there. But consistently, they don't have an edge rusher or another defensive tackle that helps Chris Jones quickly. It's late. And even then, do you think that George Karlaftis can stop, twist, turn to keep up with Josh Allen when he's on the move? No, he can't do that. That's not his game. He has to be able to basically come up from behind and get to Josh Allen, or make a leaping grab. So I'm not trying to yell at you guys about your own opinions. That's fine. You guys have your opinions. For me, I watch Chiefs defense that Chris Jones is the one guy that everybody focuses on because nobody else threatens them quickly.
And that's the thing. It's 3 steps. You have to have the hand action and the get off to win in 3 steps. That's what an edge rusher has. And you have to affect the quarterback in that time so that his window either shrinks or he has to move off of his spot and reset. That's the key to winning pass rush. It's not so much about getting a free look and dipping your shoulder so that you can open arm crush a quarterback. That's always nice, but that's not the key. It's about getting those first 3 steps before they have a chance to do what they want to do. That's what they have to do. Angler, we talked about this for a second, but thanks for bringing it up and thanks for the support. The way that they were jumping the inside routes, you couldn't do the RPOs effectively, or at least they didn't feel that they could. I do think there could have been some more conventional ways to attack it. I know I'm always the guy that says, go back to basics, go old school. But sometimes when you just run a damn slant from under center with 2 tight ends in the game, you get away with stuff because they can't cover everything, especially if you want to run quick game inside from a slot type receiver like Rasheed. If you want to run him on slant, you put 2 tight ends in there. It forces the linebackers and the safeties to have to guard all 3 of them individually where they can't zone it off as easily. It gives you a better chance at completing those passes. That's what I look for, and they just don't like to do it. And I wish I had a better explanation for you. But that's all I got at this point.
No, I'll be interested to see when I watch CL 22 about what the Bills were doing defensively. Because to your point, Angler, if the quick passing game was being keyed on, let's just say, for example, it was being keyed on. Patrick has to now get to his second and his third reads, which are typically going to be deeper over the middle of the field. That's where they want to go, right? And if your tackles aren't protecting, then you can't do that. You can't do that. It's a difficult situation for execution point. If your tackles are getting beaten and Patrick has to get to his second and third read, you see where the disconnect becomes. So if they're keying on the first read, which is where the quick passing game is coming from, if they're trying to get to that first and then the tackles can't protect, then we have a little bit of a disconnect where the plan and the execution comes through.
Absolutely. And it goes to this point as well. Thank you, Faithful. Did the game plan call for too many deep balls? In my opinion, it's not that there were too many deep balls. I think you have to have those in there. A, you want to have a chance to hit a home run every single play. B, you got to keep the secondary honest. The problem for me is they get into these route combinations where you have the deep routes and you have the intermediate routes, but they take too long to develop. They're at 12 and 15 and 17 yards instead of having an option at 4 yards and an option at 8 yards and then deeps. You gotta attack more levels at a time. And I think when the Chiefs get into their mode, they feel like Patrick's going to buy you enough time that a 12-yard route is the least that you have to run. And I don't think that's true.
I'm with you. They want to be aggressive. Like that's the thing that we talked about all off season. In the preseason, it was a mindset. And even when Xavier really went down, they wanted to attack down the field. Like this is a mindset more than anything else. And I do think that this team still wants to be aggressive. Yes, they can shift if they have to and go to the quick passing game, whatever's working for them. I felt like when you watch the Bills defense coming into this game, they could have been had. And I felt that way all week long. But they played a much better football game than they probably have all season long. And I still think you have to expect that. And I didn't think that they had the best plan of attack or most likely the execution factor to put it out there.
I think you were probably right there. Pat, nice to see you. Is it me or does every team in the league get to push the pile forward until the play goes backwards, but the whistle is blown for the Chiefs as soon as it's a pile up? You have a very good point because I heard at least 2 whistles early tonight. Yeah. Where I felt they still had a chance there. And people can complain about the refs in terms of making the calls, but it's those little details that make a 1 yard gain into a 3 yard gain. You know what I mean? So that was a great observation, Pat. And I think that's something that we all need to keep an ear out for because I agree with you. I saw that.
Yeah. The only thing I have a thing about with the referees tonight was the tipped pass that was not. I don't believe you shouldn't be allowed to challenge that. I understand it's a penalty, but we can physically see on the replay the altering the path of the football. And if it has to do with the football, you should be allowed to challenge that. That is I would expect after this game, you'll get the whole referees saying, yep, that should have been not a penalty because it was tipped, but it doesn't help you now. 3rd and 6 goes to 3rd and 16, and that kills a drive. In essence, I still think they probably would have gone for it on 4th and short. So
true.
That's an interesting thing.
But I'll tell you this too. It not only does need to be reviewable, but the whole rule needs to be changed because it's not just an intentional grounding call that hinges on. You can get the same thing on a PI call down the field if the ball is tipped at the line. This is an important aspect of every pass that changes the outcome of what can be penalized and what cannot by the rule book. They have to be able to give themselves enough information to make that call correctly, whether it's initial or not. Green, they don't have a win over a good team yet, the Lions. The Lions were hurt. I agree with that. And while I won't complain about that, I feel like the Chiefs' wins are better than the Bills' wins had been to this point. That's how I feel. And it's pretty subjective, but in the end, that's how I felt about it. So we will see what happens going forward. But in the end, I know people laugh at me every preseason when I'm like, there might be 3 playoff teams from the AFC West. The AFC West is one of the toughest divisions in football, and they got to get through that. That will give them more quality wins, in my opinion. By the time we get a month from now, I think the story may be quite different.
Yeah, hopefully.
So Cato wants to know, just point blank, do you think they'll get him help?
No, I don't.
No.
And the thing is, the way to get CJ help, maybe a defense tackle. I don't know. That's the one thing that I haven't really figured out if they're going to be able to get. I still think they need an edge rusher. Like Charles Menahue is just not giving you. He's just not giving you anything.
Dude, yeah. And KC58, stop spamming. We get it. We heard you the first 17 damn times.
Yeah. Gotta be able to monitor that a little bit.
Sorry.
And you still have to remember that the cap space has to be able to fit somebody if it's going to be someone that can help, whether that's going to be cutting Elijah Mitchell, restructuring contract, all this stuff has to happen before Tuesday, the deadline on Tuesday. So I don't think they're going to. this has worked in the past, but right now it feels like the quickness with which the Chiefs are unable to get to the quarterback is truly impacting them far more than it has in the past.
Yeah, I have to agree. And Lady D, thank you. I think you nailed it. It's not just that it's an edge rusher. You have to have a guy like Frank
Yeah.
Clark. Chris Jones is cool. Chris Jones is funny. He keeps everybody motivated. But you got to have a guy that's willing to come in there and chop some dude in the throat if you let him. You know what I mean? You need somebody you got to hold back and keep him in the rules so he gives an edge to this defense. There's too many nice guys on this defense. That's the way it reads out to me. And I don't know, Lady D, if that's the way you were going, but I appreciate you. And that's the way I take it because that's what I always loved about Frank.
A lot of soft-spoken players, just a ton of them. And that's one thing that I think we both agree that Jaden Hicks needs to be out there for, is that he is a little more soft-spoken. He and Trent McDuffie are very similar in that regard, but they go out there and they hit people. That sack that Trent McDuffie had, I want to give Spags his flowers for that blitz because it was fantastic. You get the attention of Nick Bolton, and Trent McDuffie comes on, Josh Allen had no idea he was there and submarined his ass. That was a fantastic blitz and sack on Spags' part. But like, they need guys that are going to go out there and lay the wood. They're just going to go hit it. Go hit somebody. And then do a little talking. Like last year when Jaden Hicks did the whole thumbs down, that was the ultimate Jaden Hicks moment. We don't have that.
No.
No.
It's frustrating. Okay, I think she did agree with me. Okay, I'm happy to see that. Thank you, D. Appreciate you. Jacob, it seems like, no, Werewolf, let me get it. It seems like, I started to read the wrong one. It seems like Andy Reid's using the game to gauge how he game plans for the playoff games. I think you're absolutely right. We talked about this real quick with Matt Derrick on the Locked On show, if you guys saw that just before this. He wants to win these games, but it's not all out because he knows more than likely, whether it's the divisional level, the AFC Championship, whatever it is, that you're going to see them again. They are that good a football team. They are still the two Goliaths of this conference. I don't care who's in first place. I think the Colts showed you today that being in first place doesn't mean that you're the best team. So I do think that he gauges how they play. You got their best effort today. You got the best thing that Joey Bosa has done in 2 seasons today. You got maybe the best Greg Rousseau performance this season, at least from what I've seen. And you got Cole Bishop being Jaden Hicks for the Bills.
Correct.
Cole Bishop has never played that good. And kudos to him. That's what they needed from him. That's what the Chiefs need from their defensive line. Somebody just stand up there and just scrap to the point that you put some fear into the other team.
It takes a lot of guys having their best performances of the season for the Bills to come out and out physical the Chiefs. Like that's what it was. And it felt like that too. It felt like the Bills wanted to come out and make a statement. They did. They made a statement. And again, I'm not going to overreact to what I think this team can be based off of this game, because I don't think that this game ultimately means they're going to win the Super Bowl or not make the playoffs or things like that. It's about how you respond to it. How are you going to respond the next time you play a team that punches you in the mouth? How are you going to go out there, use this information and play better because of it? That's what we need to see. And when you have Drew Tranquill playing as much as he is in coverage, how are we going to see an adjustment based off of that? Are we going to see it? Jamari Conner, still not good in coverage, guys. I don't know what else you got to see, but he's not good at it. So here we are. Jaden Hicks can play that role, but here we are still doing the same thing. Also want to give Brian Cook a lot of credit on that PBU on 4th down today. Maybe his best pass breakup. I know it was thrown a little bit more towards him, but he still broke on the throw, and you want to see that. So some guys had some really good moments in this game, but overall, I felt like from the beginning, they didn't have the juice to stick with Buffalo, who came out and took it to them.
Yeah, and when you look about where guys, in fact, if I can pull it up, I'll see if they have Josh's scatter plot up yet. When you see where they attacked, it's mostly in the middle at the linebacker level. Linebacker and the low safety, because they got the crossers going. They got Shakir in there. They got the tight ends in there. You saw Watson make a play early. You saw Cook making plays early. Cook and McDuffie coming down on the screens, making sure that didn't work. What happened is they crossed you over the middle against your linebackers, and they took advantage of it because of that hole in your defense. And unfortunately, there's nothing on this roster that's going to change that until you just bite the bullet and put in younger players.
Yeah.
If you guys want any of the gear, if you like any of this stuff or the Mahomes logo, the MVP or whatever you like, go ahead and grab it. We appreciate you. The link is right there. And FLDB, thank you, buddy, for putting that out. We appreciate you. Jacob had another one. Thank you for the support, Jacob. Andy and Nagy blow my mind on how much they abandon the run. Hunt and Smith, if used, would eat. And I agree with you. I love the old thunder and lightning approach with Kareem, and then you could have come back. You need to run 2 back sets, in my opinion, and fake to Hunt, pitch to Smith. You will have defenses diving at the A and B gaps, and Smith will be long gone on the outside. There's just too many ways to use him.
It didn't happen today. I wanted them to do more. Just run outside zone. Just get under center, run outside zone with Brashard Smith. Do it one time. Like, why didn't we see it at all this game? Like, or the pitch, like you said last week, they had a pitch that got called back on a hold, but it was a good play. Why didn't we see that again? Like, why haven't we seen Brashard Smith, any screen to Brashard Smith? Why did that not come into this game?
Well, the one was the Trey one, right? Was that?
Yeah, I meant more of like the wide receiver stuff he was doing earlier.
Oh,
like,
gotcha.
why do we not see any of that anymore? Where'd that go? So I don't know. I don't know what and maybe whoever, I know someone mentioned that they may use this game as a measuring stick to where they need to be versus what they're doing and things like that. But if you're doing that in the regular season when you're 5-4, we're 5-3, about to be 5-4, maybe not the best idea, but I mean, we'll find out. I just wanted to see. I just want to see more Brashard Smith. I don't understand what it has to take for Andy Reid to just give him more touches, especially with Isaiah Pacheco hurt. You gave Clyde Edwards-Helaire two touches in this football game. I don't know why. I don't know why.
I don't either. What did you get for it? Absolutely nothing.
I mean, you got one 6-yard run, right? You got a 6-yard run
because of Kingsley.
Yeah, I know. It was. I know. I just don't. I don't understand what it is. You brought him up because you had to. You didn't have to give him the ball. Like, you didn't have to do that.
No, you didn't. I saw Tanyan on the field once tonight, just so everybody knows. And he did run.
Oh, he was on the field a couple of times. Yeah.
He did run a route. I maybe they're holding that back too. I don't know, but they got to find something. There's got to be a next level of what you can do. And I know they all know it. I just don't know who's falling over not getting there. Faithful, thank you. Why do they struggle in execution on offense so much? For a team that is so souped up and has so much talent, why do you think that it is, Dan?
I mean, I think that they have their game plan set on being aggressive, specifically right now. Being aggressive, and when that happens and your tackles don't play well, like you need time to be able to be aggressive down the field. And I'm not going to say Patrick played a great game. I don't think he played a great game, but I don't think all of this is his fault either. I think that the only reason they were even close is because Patrick is superhuman and did some things that he shouldn't have been able to do and got them in scoring situations. And at the end of the day, the execution relies just as much on the players as everyone around Patrick as it does on Patrick, who has to set everything up and execute himself too. I don't think I don't think Patrick executed poorly today. I really don't believe he did. I think that he performed admirably given the circumstances. So that's my opinion. But I couldn't tell you exactly why they struggle to execute so much on offense, other than mentally checking out every now and then. Like, I still think this comes back to the run game, where if you are out physicaling an opponent, you are mentally in that game. I don't care who you are. If you're out there punishing defenses, you're like, yeah, let's get out there and do that more. Like, let's go figure that out. Like, you're juiced up. But if you're just like playing back a little bit, it doesn't feel the same when I watch a team like the Chiefs who will run the football and then they get those first downs and they get juiced up. I don't see that in games like this, and maybe that's the difference.
Well, and I'll tell you this too. Running the ball and getting those chunks charges up the offensive line. And especially when you need it, you need that reinforcement for them. Those guys are human too. They need positive reinforcement. Being able to execute something well helps them do better on the things they're struggling with. FLDB, thank you, buddy. Do you think any other team would have run a play on 4th and 17 at that moment? I doubt it. I mean, maybe somebody crazy like the Bills, but maybe the Ravens. If you don't have those 3 quarterbacks, I don't think anybody's doing it.
No, I don't think so at all. This was a moment that last year the Chiefs wouldn't have even done it. They would have punted the ball, but the Chiefs, again, they can be aggressive, and I think that was a really nice design to force Joey Bosa into conflict where he literally like had no idea what to do. He was confused. It's 4th and 17. Now blocking me. What's happening here? I have a free lane to Patrick Mahomes, and he just stopped. He froze, which is how Patrick was able to get time to throw that football to Rashee Rice. So that was cool. But no one else is doing that, man.
I as cool as that was, I have to say that had me at pucker factor 19. I'm just saying. Okay. Hannah, thank you. Appreciate the support. What's the point of saving plays if you don't make the playoffs? We could miss the playoffs due to always starting slow. Pat and his worst completion game ever. And that's a very good point. And that's why we are always trying to point out the things they could or should be doing in order to not put yourself in that position where like you have all this great stuff saved that you don't get to use. Andy will say, well, I'll just put it in the book and we'll use it next year. But that's not the way that it works. You also have to remember that they were hoping for a 3-game suspension for Rashee Rice. The stuff that you're seeing now, this was meant to be in week 4 with the Wildcat stuff and this stuff. So like, they are just late getting to the table. Let's hope that they can continue to increase. So thank you, Hannah. I appreciate you folks. Last call for Super Chats, and we're going to wrap it up here. Also, lots of rumors for us trading for a running back. If so, who would you like to see on this team realistically? I think tonight proved, and I'm not trying to say the Pops would have changed the outcome of this game, but to your point, Dan, when you're trying to be physical and you have a 1-2 thing, especially with Kareem, and we know that he has a wall out there lingering in front of him, like if you need a true committee, and whether it's a trade or an acquisition or signing somebody off a practice team, whatever, I think they need to probably still look at that acquisition. What do you think?
It's also going to be like the most cost-effective move. Like it's not going to cost them a lot in terms of cap space and draft capital to bring somebody in. So it wouldn't shock me if a running back was brought in. You don't really know the length in problem with Isaiah Pacheco. He comes back and he gets hit in the knee again. What's going to happen? You don't really want to put all of that apparently on a running back that the Chiefs don't trust in Brashard Smith to run the football. I don't know who I would like realistically look to be trading for, but maybe a Chuba Hubbard. Because right now, Rico Dowdle is just literally being just better than he is in Carolina. He's overtaking that role. I think he has the most rush yards in the NFL over the last month. So you might be able to trade for a Chuba Hubbard. Unrealistically, the Seahawks don't really give a damn about Kenneth Walker, apparently. No. So go try to get him away from them because I think he'd be fantastic in Kansas City. I don't know, though.
I like both those options. Again, it's about cost of value, and I think both of those could be had for what is reasonable to this team that has 3.4 cap space right now. That's it. So you have to manufacture something either in the deal or in some other transaction, and that's the hard part. So thank you, Oscar. Appreciate you. Logan, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Good to see you, pal. Just means that we win in January. I like the way you think. Thought it would be interesting if both are wild cards. Yeah, and that's the way it's leaning right now. I don't think that the Pats are going to gain it or give any ground to them. They're going to have to go take it. But anyone who says Pat was the problem are watching with their eyes closed today. I like the way that you put that.
Again, I don't think he was perfect. No, I don't think he made a ton of bad throws either, though. Like this wasn't a game where he was just making a bunch of bad decisions. Guys initially, again, weren't open. So I want to go back to the All-22 when this comes out tomorrow and see what they were doing, because I do think if they were triggering on those quick passes and then teeing off on the tackles, it makes the most sense to me of why guys weren't open and why things got the way they were, because Patrick just didn't have time to get to the second and third option. So we'll kind of see how that works, but I'm interested, like I said, to see what they do based off of this game.
There were 2 plays that I thought were ill-advised. One was the interception.
That was just a dumb decision.
That should not have been thrown, in my opinion. But
agreed.
He's Patrick Mahomes. You got to give him a little bit of leeway. He's going to do that sometimes, and he's going to do the magic the rest of the time. So I can't really complain. So that's where I'm at. Hannah, thank you yet again. The play calling was abysmal. Bills were bad against the run coming into the game, and Andy decides to, we'll just drop back, pat, and throw. It does not make sense. And we're 100% with you, especially when even the early down data, the first half data shows you Kareem and the offensive line are running the ball well and you still don't do it. That's definitely a problem.
They also had Rashee Rice in the backfield like 3 or 4 times in the first half. They didn't do it at all in the second half. Like, what? Why not?
Right? You've already shown your hand. You might as well play it. Bottom line. Big Chief, nice to see you. If Simmons does come back, should we expect any struggles or delays in starting him, considering he hasn't played for some time? That's a very good point. Yeah, he's not going to waltz back in and be ready to go. Especially, I still do not have clarity on what's been going on with him. Family matter. I don't know. That could put a serious mental drain on you if you're dealing with grief or depression or whatever it is. There's a lot that could degrade coming back in and adapting smoothly to being back on the field, especially knowing that everyone's looking at you like you're the savior for this season.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure for a rookie kid.
He did have a lot of pressure coming into the season. Let's be honest about that. But it's a little bit different coming back from something like this. And he's going to be asked questions about it too. And if he's unprepared to answer those questions and reliving it, that's one of the things that we didn't know about Clyde Edwards-Helaire before it happened, the PTSD that he had. And those are real impactful things.
Absolutely.
Clyde is not the athlete that Josh Simmons is, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't impact your play regardless. So being prepared for those situations, honestly, it's a good thing that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is on the team, because when Josh comes back, he has someone to go and talk to about this, with how open Clyde has been about his struggles and his situation. He has an immediate someone that can help him in the room right now if he's dealing with something like that. So it's a great resource to have. Hopefully it's nothing like that at all, and he's going to be okay to come back mentally. But practice getting into the game, you probably won't be right until maybe the first half of that football game. It would be my opinion.
Yeah, and that's a very good observation about Clyde having been through something similar. If that's the case, we don't even know the details. But whatever it is, it's when you say it's a family issue, none of that's easy. So having someone that's been through that, and I know that Andy respects the way Clyde has dealt with his business, and that is a very good point. No offense, I still don't need Clyde being elevated over a back that can actually run. But I like having him around. And for those of you that ask, why is Clyde around? That's why. Because he's a good dude. He's stable.
I love Clyde.
Reliable.
Yeah, I love Clyde. Like the great person to have in the building. No offense, dude. You shouldn't be elevated. Like he's just not there. I love, you guys know, I will defend him until my dying day when it comes to how he played, again, all that other stuff. He's a fantastic human being. But please stay on the practice squad.
Hannah, another one. Thank you. No, we don't need a run back. We need D-line pass rusher. You're absolutely right. The question is whether there's availability for that. That's what we don't know. And because of the cap situation, it's unlikely that you're going to get an impact player that can fit under the cap unless the trading team eats some of the salary. Yeah. That's really just the truth of it. So it's a hurdle. It can be overcome, but it does make it a little bit more difficult. Thank you, Hannah. Yeah, I mean, nice to see you. We better trade or cut Mitchell. You are not wrong. What are we doing with him? I hope we find some defensive help. And that's the big question. If you were keeping him as the break glass guy, this was the time to break the glass when pops out. The whole plan, as we have understood it to this point, didn't make any sense tonight.
The two places that the Chiefs objectively have struggled this year, and that they made moves that made no sense, are defensive tackle and running back. And they're still doing those things. I don't understand what's going on with this team and defensive tackles and running backs. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's nuts. Kyle, thanks for being here, buddy, and thanks for the support. Thank you guys, as always, for the intelligent, insightful analysis. We do our best to do that. Sometimes I get emotional, but I'm sorry. Talking heads or TV are painful. I agree with you. Half the time, it's apparent that they haven't even watched the games, and that's the truth of it. Looking forward to more great work. Kyle, thank you for being with us. And thank you for the support and calling us out. We do honestly do our best to give you the truth, whether it sucks or not. And right now, it sucks. I'm sorry. Yeah. Hannah, yeah, right. And Hannah, Bill's pressured Pat on 52.6%. You are more up to date than I am because I haven't even pulled those numbers yet. So well done. But yeah, and here's the thing. From my stats, he went down to 25% completion rate tonight on his pressured snaps.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Usually he's way above that, double. above 50%, even when pressured. And that was, I think, the difference tonight is he wasn't able to have enough targets to compensate for that like he usually does.
And that comes to the Bills. Again, hats off to the Bills for maintaining their rush discipline. Because when Patrick has been pressured, he's been able to get up and out of the pocket, make guys miss, and then make that second reaction throw. He wasn't unable to do that in this game. And because the pressures were so much more than he's dealt with, Patrick was one of the least pressured quarterbacks on dropbacks this entire season, and one of the best numbers of his career this year. When you see that number, like that the Hannah posted up there, that shows you, one, that the Bills had a very good game plan and that Patrick was unable to get into his second and third reaction throws. Go back to last week on Monday Night Football. Those second, third reactions were incredible, and he was amazing on those. That was not tonight, and it wasn't necessarily his fault in that regard. The Bills maintained their rush lanes. They were disciplined in their rushes, and they got after him quick.
And honestly, other than the three teams they play in this division, the Bills know them the best.
Yeah.
You're not only dealing with a team that's nearly as talented as you are, but you're playing with a team that knows you as well as anybody does as well. And they might, you could even make the argument that they know them better than the AFC West teams because they play them in the playoffs. They play them in both versions of the Chiefs team, the regular season and the playoff season. So it just makes it tough. It makes it really, really tough. D-Barn, thank you. If you would hit that, I don't dislike, none of us dislike Clyde either. So I'm glad to hear you say that. Why has Buffalo got their number? Because they studied them. Because McDermott is a good coach. Is he as dynamic as some people want? No, but he is a good coach. And he comes from Andy. He understands Andy. And that is, I think, part of his advantage. Would you disagree?
No, I think that's, and again, Sean McDermott does a great job in the regular season. Every year they do a great job in the regular season. What happens when they see them in the postseason? Patrick carves them up every year. Again, until we get to see the Chiefs in the postseason, it is what it is. If they were to see the Bills in the postseason, if they make it, I think it's going to happen again. You can't talk me off that.
Yep. Nope. Not until it happens. I won't believe it till I see it. I mean, appreciate you. Yeah. The Josh with a good bit of acting. I guess he's married now to an actress. That was
honestly
beautiful.
Embellishment isn't embellishment a flag? I'm pretty sure it is. That was
I think it is.
Awful. It was really bad. It was one of the worst attempts at getting a flag I've ever seen, and it should have been flagged.
It was funny. I have to.
Either way.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Folks, we're going to Q&A for you tomorrow. After we get a chance to look at it again, get the stats and the snaps, we'll have it all for you. So don't miss us tomorrow night at our normal time. Thank you for being with us today. Dan, thanks for the time and the insight. I appreciate you, buddy.
Oh, you guys, I know this is all kind of a therapeutic session for everybody after a loss like that. Just try to keep everything forefront. Bye weeks coming up. Spags always gets better after a bye. Always gets better after a bye every single year. It's a later one this year too. Hopefully we hear some news on Josh Simmons, some positive news, and just keep that head up, guys. It's 5-4. They are still over 500, and I still think that this is a better football team than what they put out there last year. They're just not winning as many games.
Yeah, I agree. The Broncos are winning tighter games just like the Chiefs did last year. It's just not bouncing this way this year. It will be all right. I'm still confident in my 13-4. I'm just saying. I might be crazy. You guys can tell me tomorrow when you come in here. Have a good night. We'll talk to you then.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.